Welcome back to The Explainer, everyone. Today, we are diving into something truly mind-bending. We're going to explore the esoteric concepts presented in Chapter 4 of our source text, titled Awakening to the Space Age. If you love structured deep dives into complex, cosmic paradigms that challenge conventional history and science, well, you are in the exact right place. We're going to rely strictly on the text today to map out a highly unique perspective on the true history of the universe.
So let's just jump right in with a massive question the text throws at us right out of the gate. We're all familiar with ancient folktales, right? But the author challenges us to rethink them completely. Take the famous Japanese folktale, The Tale of the Bamboo Cutter. The source material asks a very direct question. Was Princess Kaguya actually an extraterrestrial visitor? It's a wild, compelling hook that sets the stage for everything we're about to cover.
Section 1. Aliens in Ancient Myths. Reinterpreting History.
The text argues that what we call ancient mythology might actually be a literal, historical record of early alien contact. It points to specific evidence in Japanese myths, for example. The text references ancient descriptions of gods interacting with our world using things like heavenly floating bridges, which are described as step-like structures, and heavenly bird boats. The author argues that when you really look at these descriptions of gods flying through the sky in these vessels, they closely mirror what we'd call UFO sightings today.
And applying that lens completely flips the script on Princess Kaguya. The tale of an old man finding a glowing 10-centimeter girl inside a bamboo stalk isn't just a fairy tale, according to the author. The text notes that she grew incredibly fast, and eventually, glowing, flying carriages, described back then as ox carriages, came down from the moon to take her back. The source text asserts this is literally an account of an extraterrestrial being visiting Earth and then being retrieved by a spaceship. No way, right?
Section 2. The Methodology. Space People Readings.
Now, you might be wondering, how exactly does the author claim to know all these hidden cosmic histories? If mainstream science doesn't support this, where is the information coming from? Well, that leads us to this foundational concept in the text, Space People Readings. The author describes this as an advanced spiritual method. It's claimed to be a way to literally transcend time and space to recall memories of a cosmic age and communicate directly with extraterrestrial souls. This is the exact mechanism the author uses to justify the highly unorthodox claims in the book.
The text actually breaks down a really precise three-step process for these readings. Step 1. Bypass physical distance. The author claims this happens via space-time tunnels or wormholes, which shortens distances that would normally take light years to cross. Step 2. Access the consciousness of a soul, regardless of where or when they existed. And finally, Step 3. Communicate directly with them to extract the true cosmic history.
There's a quote in the text that hits the nail on the head regarding the philosophy behind Step 2. The author argues that time simply isn't fixed in the spiritual realm. They state that even if someone is physically deceased, their consciousness remains as a living soul. Because of this, the text claims it's entirely possible to question historical or extraterrestrial souls about past events exactly as if those events were happening right now.
Section 3. Rethinking Human and Animal Origins.
Armed with this spiritual methodology, the author takes a pretty huge swing at modern science. The text draws a stark contrast between Darwinian evolution theory, which, is the current mainstream scientific paradigm, and the author's alternative space origin theory. The source material impartially reports its own findings, derived from those spiritual readings, to push back against conventional biology.
So let's break down the author's specific critique. The text explicitly declares that Darwinian evolution is, quote, half wrong. It fundamentally rejects the scientific consensus that life started merely from a mass of contracting proteins that eventually sparked microscopic organisms. Furthermore, it completely rejects the idea of a continuous, single evolutionary tree where microbes eventually evolved into mice and then all the way up to humans purely through Earth-based changes.
Instead, the Space People readings suggest a totally different alternative. Reptiles, birds, and mammals didn't just slowly branch off from a single earthly evolutionary tree. Rather, the text argues that various species actually arrived from space at distinct points in the ancient past, integrating into the Earth's ecosystem over time.
And the text gets incredibly specific here. According to the author's readings, many familiar animals actually originated on other planets before they were ever brought here. The text specifically lists deer, rabbits, squirrels, pigs, and, get this, even capybaras, as creatures whose original forms existed in space. The author notes that while they might have changed in size to adapt to Earth's gravity and environment, their core forms were literally extraterrestrial imports.
Section 4.
cosmic lineages, and universal truths.
Shifting gears from biological origins to philosophical connections, the text points specifically to two major star systems as having a massive influence on Earth, the Pleiades and Vega. According to the esoteric teachings of happy science highlighted in the text, Earth's civilization and its foundational Buddhist truths are deeply entangled with the teachings brought by beings from these specific cosmic locations. The text categorizes the distinct philosophical flavors brought by these civilizations. The Pleiades aligns heavily with concepts of beauty, love, harmony, and progress. Vega, on the other hand, is credited with bringing much more mystical and esoteric teachings. This includes the incredibly complex Buddhist concept of Ichinen Sanzen, which relates to the mind's profound power to encompass the entire universe.
All of these claims, from UFOs and ancient myths to capybaras from space to spiritual teachings from Vega, serve a massive, overarching purpose in the text. The author's ultimate goal is for humanity to synthesize these diverse cosmic influences into a unified framework of universal justice, sometimes referred to in the text as space law. The goal is to awaken us as what the text calls new earthlings, united by universal human truths.
So, what's the big takeaway for us today? The text really wants to expand our future possibilities by totally reshaping how we view our past. It asks us to recognize myths as potential factual cosmic records, to understand that human bodies on Earth might actually harbor reincarnated souls from across the galaxy, and to dedicate ourselves to exploring universal cosmic justice. By understanding the diverse civilizations out there, the author believes we unlock humanity's true ultimate potential.
Which leaves us with a massive, thought-provoking question to end on. Based on the framework presented in this source text, if our spiritual teachings, our ancient myths, and even our biological roots truly trace back to the stars, what diverse cosmic civilizations are out there right now, just waiting for us to discover them? It's absolutely fascinating to ponder. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep your curiosity focused on the stars.